His new book, Integrity, the Missing Ingredient, explains how to renew your mind and spirit. And here with us today is the author, Dr. Anthony Trice. Dr. Trice, welcome to STL TV.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And it's a pleasure to have you. And you
Thank
have
you.
an interesting story and journey through life that led you to publish a book
Yes.
that you're sharing with many, many people in your church and throughout St. Louis and elsewhere.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, I grew up in the streets of St. Louis, ex-drug dealer, gangbanger, just basically was, at that time was a thug. And God had just miraculously delivered me. Just had a lot of situations that I should not have made out of, and God just supernaturally delivered me from those situations.
So going back, so you were a child, a teenager when you were out in the streets, drug dealing, that kind of thing, is that right?
Absolutely. I was actually raised in church as a child, and when I kind of got in high school, I kind of got off track, got involved with different guys that was, in the streets doing different things.
What do you think led you away from your church family out into the streets doing these things?
Bad choices.
Bad choices?
Wrong decisions, yes.
Hanging with the wrong people?
Hanging with the wrong people. And that basically would get you off track in life.
Yeah, and was your family aware of what was going on?
You know what? I don't think they were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were. A lot of stuff I did away from my home, away from my parents, so they didn't have an idea or have a clue that I was doing some of the things that I was doing.
Yeah, because people doing those things are masters at cover up, right?
Absolutely. and you know how children are. They one way in front of their parents, and when they get away from their parents, they're a different way.
Yeah.
So we kind of live a double life.
Sure, exactly. And you talk about that in your book. It's all
Yes.
what integrity is really all about.
Yes, it's about honesty.
Yeah. Now, were you scared back then?
You know what? I did have a fear of a lot of things that I was doing because a lot of guys that I was around was getting murdered, going to jail, just things that was happening to them that wasn't happening to me, though. So there was a degree of fear in me. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So was there an epiphany? Was there a moment that you recall that all of a sudden a light bulb went off and you said, I don't want to live this way anymore?
Well, yes. Like I said, I had a lot of close friends that died, that had got murdered, had got killed. At this particular time, I was working at Barnes Hospital, and it's like amazingly, God was like using people to come up to me and just tell me about the Lord and just share different things with me. And I knew that it was not a coincidence that these people that was perfectly strangers were saying certain things to me. So that was God's way of drawing me to Him.
What were you doing at Barnes? What kind of work did you do?
I was an orderly, and that kind of had an impact on me too because I was taking, dead people to the morgue and different things like that. So it kind of made me more conscious of death. So.
But you must have been had a friendly face, and people wanted to talk to you. So,
Absolutely.
And you were a magnet to people
Absolutely.
coming to you.
All my life, I've been a people person. Been a people person all my life.
So these people kept coming to you. You at this point were in your 20s or early 20s, maybe.
Early 20s, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And you kept hearing this same theme.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, the way God did it, He was sending different people to me, but they all had the same message. So they kind of got my attention. So I kind of knew that God was dealing with me. And of course, I was raised in church, so I had some degrees of truth, and I kind of knew how God kind of operated. So.
Yeah. So then what did you do?
I mean, I started going back to church, and it seemed like when I started going back to church, it's like the preacher was preaching directly to me. But it was the voice of God letting me know that it was my time to make a change, and I started to make changes. I started separating myself and started going to church more, stopped drinking. And then I also had some situations that I was in where I was making drug transactions, and the people that I was interacting with was trying to kill me. So that kind of got my attention. That was God's way of kind of interrupting what I was doing.
Yeah. So I like that word, interrupting. God interrupts us, doesn't He?
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
So at this point, so you were going to church, but you were
Yes.
still dealing.
I was trying to live both sides, but it's like the Spirit of God just started to become stronger and stronger in my life in regards to just drawing me and just talking to me. I remember or recall a time I was in my apartment and I was mixing up some drugs, and I became very paranoid. And what I did, I just took the drugs and flushed it down the toilet. It's as if somebody was watching me, but that was God really dealing with me, trying to get my attention. So I kind of had multiple situations like that that God kind of used to really get my attention.
So do you feel that you found this strength within yourself then to make the changes?
Well, yeah, you have a responsibility to take heed or to make some adjustments or, to kind of go a different way, especially when you have had warning signs.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Dr. Trice, we're going to take a quick break, but we
Okay.
will be back in a few minutes. We're going to learn more about what you're doing here in St. Louis for our residents today, all the different events and things to get the word out. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you.